Hey athletes, today we're talking about how just because it says organic or gluten-free, that doesn't immediately make it healthy. It doesn't make it better for you in an objective type way. Now, there are certainly situations where, it being gluten-free can be better for you, where being organic can be better for you, okay? But just because they get it stamped, it shouldn't just let you throw your arms up and be like, oh, yeah, I found the food I can have as much as I want of and it's not a problem. And here's why. I mean, you can get gluten-free organic ice cream, but if that's all you eat for, days and weeks on end, probably not very healthy, right? So again, just because it says gluten-free, just because it says organic, doesn't necessarily make it okay for you to just go nuts on, okay? Now, are there some benefits to being organic? Sure. Okay, there certainly are. If I haven't told you the story, and you've probably heard it, so you can always fast forward, but I used to train a gentleman that literally was the guy who would crop dust a field, okay? Now, this is him, just him saying this to me, I really don't know, because I don't care about crop dusting. But, so he's a professional crop duster. And what he would do is, again, fly over fields in his plane, and he would lay down the pesticides and herbicides and things like that. Now, on a regular field, he dumps a certain amount per acre, okay, certain amount of gallons, barrels, whatever, okay? He does a certain amount. Then, he would say he would get as many gallons, as many barrels over the same amount of acreage on an organic field. It's just that the pesticides and herbicides that he was spraying, he always made a joke, he was like, they smell the same, they look the same, but they're 3 times more expensive. But he was just kidding. What he was getting at is that there are still pesticides put onto organic things. There are still herbicides. It's just they are classified as okay if you're an organic farmer, okay? Again, I don't know, but possibly. It's a different, maybe more natural type pesticide or herbicide or whatever. But if your main reason for going organic is because there are no pesticides on it, that's just not necessarily the truth, okay? Now, could it have been just the crops that he was dusting? Sure, okay? Maybe not all crops that are organic have any pesticides. I don't know. But again, if that's your only concern is pesticides and herbicides, again, organic fields still have some, okay? Now, organic, as far as I know, on a biological, the cellular base, the actual fruit or the vegetable isn't any different, okay? An apple that's organic, a Granny Smith apple versus a Granny Smith apple that isn't organic, if you get rid of the coatings, the pesticides, the herbicides, and you actually get into the apple, as far as I know, it's the same, okay? It's the exact same. So, when you're buying organic, what are you essentially paying for? You're paying for possibly less herbicides and pesticides, which is great, okay? Because again, there are some theories out there that pesticides and herbicides can actually do damage in your colon. And if that's true, yeah, you probably don't want a bunch of them, especially if, it's only specific ones and, okay. But you have to understand that, again, it's not like this apple is gonna only be 20% beneficial to you and this organic apple is 100% beneficial. The discrepancy isn't that much. I know that the discrepancy isn't so much that it's worth paying 3 times the money in some cases for organic, okay? But if you can afford it, again, there is some benefit to going organic. But again, it doesn't just essentially mean it's 100% healthy, because again, they make organic ice creams, okay? It doesn't make it good for you, okay? Now, gluten-free. If you have a gluten intolerance, stay away from gluten, okay? If you've gotten it tested, you have no allergy to gluten at all, you don't necessarily have to go gluten-free. If you choose to, great, okay? Just like some people decide to go veal-free, okay? Or they decide to go pork-free, because whatever, okay? If you choose that you want to go gluten-free and it's not for an allergen reason, fine. That's totally fine. You can certainly do that. But again, it being gluten-free doesn't make it better for you. Now, there are lots of nutritionalists out there that are theorizing and they're doing tests on is the gluten of today, since we had the revolution, is the gluten of today even processable by the colon or the gut or anything like that? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. They don't quite know yet either. It's not 100%. So until then, you can have your gluten. Okay, but the reason I would say for somebody to go gluten-free is to, first of all, try new things, okay? Because some gluten-free things, we're talking brown rice, sweet potato, okay? Some oats can be gluten-free. So again, there's certain benefits to being gluten-free in that you're going to be having different grains in your life. But 100% whole wheat products, they're whole grain. They still have fiber to them, okay? They have protein to them. They have nutrients to them. They have all three pieces, all three layers to the grain, okay? It's anything super highly processed that you take, let's say this plant, let's say it's just wheat. You take it, you mill it, you bleach it, you kill everything, you re-enrich it, and that processing is just so new, okay? Can the body deal with it? Sure, okay, it deals with it. It's not like, unless you have a gluten intolerance, it's not like you touch one little thing of flour to your tongue and it just kills you, okay? But again, it hasn't been around very long, okay? So, there's no set way of knowing, and there isn't enough studies out that say, yeah, living a flour-free lifestyle, your all-cause mortality goes down. We don't know, okay? We don't know if from when you were, from when your parents conceived you, okay, through your lifespan, if you go with flour or without flour, and we have, thousands of people do this study, we won't really know how much it deviates in our body, okay? But what we do know is that it has only been around for, let's just say 100 years, let's say 150 years, okay? The human being's been around a lot longer than that, okay? So, I would say you could go gluten-free, but you don't have to. I certainly do 100% whole wheat products. They don't affect me. They don't cause me to bloat. They don't cause me to have gas. They don't cause me to fart. They don't cause anything that is any different than when I eat oatmeal, okay? So, in my opinion, for me, I can have gluten products, okay? But again, I would tell people you can go gluten-free if you're trying to avoid white bleached flour. And here's why. Gluten-free products, they're not going to have any wheat products in them. White flour is just a derivative of wheat, okay? So if you go gluten-free, yeah, guaranteed you're not going to have white flour in there if they're actually certified gluten-free, okay? So again, if you're trying to avoid some of those processed, I would say bad for you flour, going gluten-free is great. But remember, going organic, going gluten-free doesn't just make it healthy. Because again, they make gluten-free things that are terrible for you, okay? I mean, if you ate, let's say, popcorn with gobs and gobs of caramel and chocolate and, white cheddar and all of that stuff, it could be gluten-free. But we're talking some really gunky stuff. If they're cooking it in just terrible oils for you, if it's loaded with trans fats and all of those things, those are all gluten-free. It's just like eating the organic ice cream nonstop. It can be bad for you. So again, gluten-free and organic doesn't just automatically make it healthy.